Inflation can quietly erode the purchasing power of your money, affecting your financial stability. It's like a sneaky thief that steals the value of your savings over time. How can you protect your wallet from the silent grasp of inflation, and what practical steps can you take to keep your finances on solid ground? Today, we're talking about something important for your money, how inflation can affect it. It's like a quiet force that makes your money worth a little less over time, and that can mess with your plans. Think about how it feels when things get more expensive, and you might worry about how it affects your budget. We'll cover the basics and tricky parts of inflation so you know what's going on. But first, let's quickly catch up on what's happening in the economy. Update on inflation. From 1990 to 2020, the average annual inflation rate held steady at 1.92%. However, since 2021, we've witnessed a significant uptick, with the annual inflation rate surpassing 5%. Now, should you be concerned? Stick around, we'll break down what you need to know. Demystifying inflation. Think of inflation like a tricky friend who sneaks into your wallet and plays games with your money. It's not just about things getting pricier. It's like a magic trick that makes your hard-earned cash worth less. Picture saving up for something special, and when you're ready to buy it, you realize the price went up more than you thought. That feeling of being disappointed and frustrated, that's the emotional side of inflation. It's not just about numbers on price tags. It affects your daily life. Suddenly, your paycheck doesn't go as far. You have to be careful with every penny. Inflation is like a money roller coaster, with ups and downs that can make you feel a bit queasy. The purchasing power dilemma. Inflation doesn't just affect numbers. It impacts your everyday life. Think of it like an invisible force that quietly works its way into your wallet, reshaping your financial world. It's not just about the cost of things going up. It's like a sly trickster diminishing the value of your hard-earned money. Consider saving for a special treat, maybe a new gadget, only to realize that the price has climbed higher than you anticipated. That sinking feeling of frustration and disappointment. That's the emotional side of inflation. It's not merely about the digits on a price tag. It has tangible effects on your daily existence. Suddenly, your paycheck doesn't stretch as far. You find yourself carefully managing every penny. Inflation becomes a financial roller coaster, with highs and lows that induce a sense of unease. It's not just an abstract economic concept. It's a shape-shifting force that profoundly influences how we navigate the realm of money, bringing with it a mix of emotions for the ride. Wage stagnation and income inequality. Inflation isn't just about prices going up. It reaches into your everyday life, even affecting job opportunities. It's like a quiet force that not only nudges the cost of things, but also plays a role in how much you earn. Consider the job market as a giant puzzle, with inflation as a piece that can affect wages and create inequality. It's not just about numbers on a paycheck. It's about the emotions tied to your hard work. When inflation rises faster than wages, it can leave you feeling a bit disheartened, as if your efforts aren't keeping up with the rising tide of prices. The financial struggle becomes more than just a math problem. It's a human experience with real emotions. Inflation, in this sense, becomes a key player in the complex dance of wages and job opportunities, adding an emotional layer to the economic puzzle we navigate in our daily lives. Housing conundrum. Your choices about where you live are a big deal in managing money, and inflation is like a backstage player in the housing story. It's not just about four walls and a roof. It's a factor that can sway the cost of homes and how much you pay for a mortgage. Think of it as a financial weather system that can make home prices rise and mortgage rates dance to its tune. When inflation is high, buying a home might feel like trying to catch a moving target, and that can stir up a mix of emotions. It's not just a practical decision, it's tied to feelings of accomplishment or frustration, depending on how inflation is influencing the housing market. Investment strategies in an inflationary environment. Investments, planting seeds for your financial future. In an inflation-heavy setting, usual safe bets might not offer the same shield. It's as if the familiar paths you once took in the financial forest are getting a bit overgrown. This shift in the landscape can spark emotions ranging from uncertainty to a touch of anxiety. It's like steering a boat in choppy waters, where the usual landmarks might not guide you as well. The decisions about where to put your hard-earned money become more than just numbers. They carry a weight of feelings tied to the unpredictability of the financial climate. Inflation-resistant investments. Investments act like seeds for your financial future. In a scenario where inflation behaves like a whimsical breeze unsettling the money trees, the usual safe havens might not provide the expected shelter. It's akin to strolling through a familiar financial forest, only to discover that some paths are becoming overgrown. This transformation can evoke emotions, from the uncertainty of a shifting landscape to a hint of anxiety regarding the security of your money. Navigating through this financial wilderness is like steering a boat in turbulent waters where the usual markers might not be as reliable. Determining where to allocate your hard-earned money becomes more than just number crunching. It carries the emotional weight associated with the unpredictable financial climate. Personal financial strategies. When it comes to handling your money, let's zoom in on some down-to-earth strategies. It's like having a toolkit for your finances. Picture this toolkit filled with practical tips such as budgeting, a bit like giving your money a roadmap. There's also saving, a sort of financial safety net that can ease worries and bring a sense of security. But it's not just about numbers. It's about the emotions tied to your hard-earned cash. Budgeting and saving aren't just financial chores. They're like little guardians of your peace of mind, helping you weather storms and navigate the twists and turns of life. The real-world numbers. Think of the period from 1990 to 2020 as a calm river, where the average annual inflation rate flowed at a steady 1.92%. However, starting in 2021, it's as if the current of inflation has turned into a rapid surging beyond 5%. Now, you might be feeling a twinge of concern. Inflation is like a stealthy trickster slowly chipping away at the value of your money. The Bank of Canada relies on the Consumer Price Index, CPI, to measure inflation, examining the prices of about 700 items that make up the basket of goods and services. This basket, a snapshot of what people typically spend on, spans various categories like food, shelter, and transportation. These aren't just numbers. They're like gauges telling us the story of how the cost of living is changing, and it's completely okay to feel a bit uneasy about it. Historical inflation trends. To get a better grip on what's happening now, let's take a quick look back. Between 1970 and 1990, the yearly inflation rate went up and down a lot, hitting an average of 6.9%. But in 1993, the Bank of Canada decided to aim for a more stable and lower inflation rate by setting an inflation target. For the years 2022 to 2026, the goal is to keep the yearly inflation at 2%, and it can be anywhere between 1% to 3%. This helps make things more predictable and gives us an idea of where the inflation rate should ideally be. It's like setting a target to keep things in balance. Inflation versus investment returns. Think of inflation and investment returns like players in a money game. When you invest your money, you want it to grow, right? But then comes inflation, acting like a pesky weed, trying to slow down that growth. It's a bit like cheering for your savings to go up, but worrying that inflation might be sneaking in and taking some of those gains. It's a tricky balance, making sure your money grows faster than inflation can take it away. The feelings you get from this? It's a mix of being happy when your investments go up, but also a bit worried that inflation might be doing its thing. It's like a money game with emotions swinging back and forth. Controlling inflation. How does the Bank of Canada control inflation? One primary tool is adjusting its key interest rate. By raising or lowering this rate, the central bank aims to balance the overall supply of goods and services with consumer demand. Higher interest rates increase borrowing costs, slowing consumption and decreasing demand. This delicate dance helps maintain price stability and controlled inflation. And there you have it, a deep dive into the impact of inflation on your finances. From the basics of measuring inflation to the real-world consequences on your purchasing power and investments, we've covered it all. If you found this exploration insightful, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe for more financial wisdom, and share it with others. Until next time, may your financial journey be inflation-resistant and your investments stand the test of time. Stay financially savvy.